Hey, so been a bit since I made a video, most half because I'm lazy and half because I was busy with this exact thing that I'm going to talk about because I'm dumb or something. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I want I'm like starting this as if I'm gonna like go on like some lengthy. I was gonna say lengthy rant and instead I was about to say lengthy rant. Whatever. Fucking god, I can't do videos. But what I wanted to talk about was that I finally beat Code Vein, which is a video game, obviously. Like when I did a video where I said I finally beat Bloodborne because I never thought I'd beat Bloodborne. I never thought I'd return to Bloodborne. And then suddenly I just picked it up and then I just beat it. And then I beat it again and again so I could get all the endings. And I was surprised that I even did it multiple times. So that's fucking weird. But with Code Vein, I did it once. I'm definitely definitely not something I want to New Game Plus because I did not have an easy time with it because Code Vein is a Souls like, which is why I'm even talking about it. If it was just like some generic like game, like shooter game, I wouldn't even talk about beating it. I'd just be like, oh, okay, cool, the game was fun, the end. But Code Vein, it's a Souls like, which means, for anyone who doesn't know, that means that it was made to be like a Dark Souls game, so difficult. Lose your shit if you die. Uh, Bosses, limited healing, blah, 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 this and that. Really difficult. And it's made by Bandai Namco. It's not released by From Software, but it's Bandai Namco. I guess that was like their attempt at making a Souls like without FromSoft or whatever. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it's a Souls like game and it's anime Souls, right? That's what I usually would see people call it. They would call it anime Souls because it's super anime, like very anime. The characters are very anime. It has a really good character creator, so you can make some like top tier like hot anime girls or anime guys, whichever you're into. But I mean, like you can literally just you can make some big honking boobs and hot anime girls. And let's be honest, all the characters in that game are hot. Men, women, doesn't matter. Whatever you're into, that game's got it. They're all attractive. Honestly, the fact that I'm even going to talk about the game itself is surprising because I almost just want to talk about how hot all the characters are. But I did beat Code Vein. And what's crazy is I actually went a long time without dying in the game solely because I went like full strength build and then I just like put a halberd on my character and was just ripping through the enemies until I got to the end of the game, like the somewhere towards the end of the game, and that's when the bosses really started getting bullshit. Because one thing I realized about this game is that some of the bosses are pushovers, which all Souls games or Souls like games they have that. They have bosses that are pushovers. They have bosses that are annoying and kind of unfair, and then they have cool bosses. This game had quite a few unfair, like bullshit kind of ones, and also quite a few pushovers. I can't, and it's kind of sad because, like I said, I love Code Vein, but a lot of the bosses, there was never really a boss where I was like, this is amazing, this is cool, this is like the coolest boss fight ever. Like, the boss fights were, I mean, the enemies were cool, like the bosses themselves were cool, but the fights were just nothing. Sometimes it was either a boss that just did virtually nothing and you pushed them over, or a boss that was so bullshit that you would get hit no matter where you were on the map. Their hitbox, their hurt box, their whatever was bullshit. You would get hit by not even being near them. You'd get hit from behind them from a frontal attack. Like there was just some bosses that were unfair, which that's the Souls game formula, right? You're gonna fight a boss where you're like, wow, this boss is hitting me in the dumbest positions. Where it'll do like a fucking front stab and you'll be behind it and you'll still get hit. That's just Souls games in general, so that's not really anything to be shocked about. But yeah, I can't really think of a boss where I was just like, damn, this is a really cool boss. I think like maybe the closest I could think of where it wasn't just like a constantly frustrating, annoying boss might be the successor of the Rib Cage, which is just a giant. like it kind of just looks like like an Indian god, like India. Because I know when you say the word Indian, some people think like, oh, are you talking about India, or are you being offensive to Native Americans, all that shit? I'm talking about India. I don't know why I had to specify that. My brain is not working right now. I'm like loopy at the moment, but yeah, it kind of looks like some like wolf god with like multiple arms and its ass is backwards. I don't know. It has a prominent ass for some reason, which actually leads me into another thing. Some of the bosses are just straight up hot. Like the butterfly of what was it? Butterfly of despair, or something like that, is hot. It's literally a fucking butterfly chick with a dragon tail, but she's wearing like a fucking bikini made of bark. And then the boss after that is the fucking invading executioner, which looks like Hatsune Miku mixed with like Solid Snake, mixed with Slender Man, mixed with a stripper. It's crazy. And, those bosses weren't much. The executioner is kind of annoying, but that's about it. But like I said, the end game bosses got really, really bullshit. Like, because it's what makes a boss annoying is too much stamina. Their hurt box is way too fucking wide, even on their like most minuscule attack. Also, one huge problem with every boss in this game is every single boss in Code Vein has an AoE. And if anyone doesn't know what AoE means, it means area of effect, meaning an explosion of sorts. So the enemy will like charge up and then they'll explode, right? And it's usually a big explosion. It's the area of effect. But every fucking boss in Code Vein has an AoE. I don't even think in like Dark Souls games every boss has an AoE. But even the very first boss of the game has an AoE. Like every boss has a big explodey get the fuck away from me move. And it is kind of frustrating because it is a game that you really need to get in close and hit your opponent, because the magic, or I guess the Ichor or whatever the hell you call it in that game, and the guns in that game are really not useful. Like, I mean, hell, nothing is useful in that game. I'm going to be honest. One thing I noticed about Code Vein is your weapon does nothing. Nothing. When you fight a boss, your weapon does dick for damage. Like nothing. Nothing. Your Ichor attacks, which are basically the magic of the game, does nothing. The weapons, no matter what you pick, does nothing. I was doing a full strength build with a weapon that was over 1,000 power, and I would hit a boss. I would be towering over this boss with power, and my level would be insanely high, and then I'd hit the boss, and it would do like 100 damage, out of their like 10 million health. Meanwhile, the partner you have with you can like hit for like 25% of their health. You get partners in that game, which is actually kind of nice. Doesn't make it any easier, funny enough. You think that having a partner would make Code Vein infinitely easier. It does not, because that means that you have to worry about that idiot dying, and you have to hope that fucker heals you, and sometimes they just completely ignore you when you're dying. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that was about. About the fact that like you could be a high level, you could have a weapon with shitload of damage and do no damage. But I mean, I still beat the fucking game, and I got the true ending, which, there's no happy ending. I'm gonna be honest. There's no happy ending. I mean, technically, the true ending is a happy ending, but it's not a happy ending to me, because there is a character in that game called Io. She is your character's attendant or whatever, which attendants are like these characters that, I don't know, watch after people who are special because they have relics, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of story shit, but just know that Io is like an important part of the story. Io is beautiful. She is hot. She is literally fucking perfect. And the fact that there is not an ending that just lets you be happy with Io is such a kick to the balls. Like, such a kick to the balls. Because they make Io the most lovable character, like to the point where like you want to protect her. You don't want to see Io hurt, even though she's a partner, and she's actually one of the better partners because she's a mixture of magic and strength. But like, you don't like, Io is fucking perfect. Like, Io is just perfection. And there is no ending where you just get to be happy with Io, where you just get to walk off into the sunset with all your friends and Io. No, no. Io, in the bad ending, Io dies. In the neutral ending, she turns to stone. In the true ending, she turns into a fucking tree. There is no happy ending with Io. While the true ending may be technically happy because your characters finally get to explore the rest of the world, Io's fucking gone, and that's a bad ending to me because Io is literally perfect, and the fact that they literally got rid of Io is blasphemy. It is an insult. How fucking dare you? Io is perfection, and the fact that you got rid of her is a sin. It is a sin. You fucking monsters. How fucking dare you? Because you should have given me a marry Io option and then let her live because I want it. But in all seriousness, it was not the fact that Io is not technically alive in any of the endings is a real kick to the balls because she is definitely one of the more likable characters because she's just sweet. Like she's just sweet. She's caring. She really cares about you, and she's about like an empty vessel of a character who grows and becomes her own person who's shown so much, and she has you to thank for it. And then there's just no ending where she gets to be happy. She just fucks off. She just gets fucked in every ending, and not in the way I wish she was getting. But but yeah. Yeah, I wanted to rant about how no matter what ending you get, if you like Io, you're not going to like any of the fucking endings, no matter how happy the true ending technically is. Especially because the true ending lets you walk around the home base and you just get to look at the bed that Io liked to sit around on and realize everyone's here, the whole gang's here. Guess who's not here? Io, Miss Perfection, the most beautiful fucking girl in all of Code Vein, is just fucking a tree. She's just a tree now. Fuck it. Sorry, I liked Io. I really liked Io. I loved Io. Like the fact that they wouldn't let me literally have an option to marry her and ignore playing the whole game where I could just spend the rest of my life in this game with her and never actually play the rest of the game but just spend the rest of it married to Io. That's a tragedy. Okay, I like Io, that's the point. But I could go on for hours about how much I like Io. She is perfection. But like I said, endings are yeah. But anyway, yeah, I beat Code Vein, Yippee Skippy, and it was difficult. Also, fuck the cannoner and the blade of whatever the fuck, the goddamn flamethrowing fat man and the sexy ice lady. Ice lady's hot, but honestly, fuck that duo boss. Fuck it very hard. They suck ass. Fuck them. And also that fucking ice beast that gets an ice shield. Fuck that thing. The Savage Brood or something like that. I don't remember what it's called. But honestly, it can go fuck itself as well. So anyway, yeah, I beat it. Whoopee. I wish there was a happy ending for Io. I wish there was, but there was not. So yeah, whatever.